As an entrepreneur, Thomas's company Beatnik brought MIDI to mobile phones around the world. And this no doubt put a smile on our late founder's face. Thomas served for 12 years as the musical director for TED. And this fall, as the Homewood Professor of the Arts at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Thomas will lead the Peabody Institute's first Music for New Media program. Joining me on stage is our CEO and Representative Director, Mr. Junichi Miki-san. Would you please? And would you now please join us in welcoming to the stage the 2018 Roland Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Mr. Thomas Dolby.
Club for men. We're actually brothers.
So, Thomas, I know that you have a long history with Roland and a relationship with Roland. Would you care to share a little bit about that story?
I would love to.
Your way.
When these guys called me and asked me to come down today, they asked if I had any old photographs of myself with my original Roland synths. And so I went on a little hard drive archaeology mission and came up with some interesting stuff. I'll just nip round here. Let's see. So I've been a synth fanatic since I was 19 years old. This was me in 1978. And my first ever synthesizer I found in a dumpster in South London during a garbage strike in the winter of discontent. And it was this Transcendent 2000 that had no keyboard. My next acquisition was this rather gorgeous vintage Revox tape recorder. And using this and a Boss Dr. Rhythm, I was able to ping pong back and forth between the tracks and make my first set of demos. And they weren't very sophisticated. I was sort of doing a primitive form of beatboxing at the time. This was a song called Pedestrian Walkway.
Pedestrian walkway. Pedestrian walkway.
Now, you have to understand the walls of my bedsitter were very thin, so I was not terribly popular with the neighbours at the time. I took my show out on the road and I was editing my own Super 8 films and projecting them behind me, and there were things like bombed out buildings in East Berlin and vivisection experiments and so on. It wasn't exactly a toe-tapping night out when you went to a Thomas Dolby concert. But I took the show on the road and I became, in a way, the embodiment of the Roland ideal. I was playing, imagine my joy when I went from 2 tracks to a 4-voice Roland JP4 synthesizer, which quickly went up to a Jupiter 8. It was Moore's Law in action. And this is one of my early shows, complete with multimedia projections.
I was 14, she was 12. Father traveled, hers as well. Europe.
So my album came out and got great reviews and won all sorts of awards and sold about 3 copies in the UK. And so I did what everybody always does. I got on a plane and went off to find another territory where maybe I'd be more successful. And so my travels took me to the Netherlands, who decided that I had a Meester plan, whatever the heck a Meester plan is. And I went to Japan, where in 1981 I was voted Young Scientist of the Year. Now, the pop stars of the day were people like Simon Le Bon and Adamant and Sting and so on. So I wasn't sure if this scientist image was really gonna work for me. But my then girlfriend pointed out that if I could maybe hire a bona fide scientist, then it would make me look like a pop star. So I started thinking this through, and I thought, well, if I'm going to be a scientist, I'm going to be a cool one. I need, at the very least, a hot Japanese lab assistant. and a vintage motorcycle combo. And I started coming up with this weird sort of story about this home for deranged scientists. And I wrote this down in the form of a storyboard and took it to my record company, EMI. And they said, okay, so who are you going to get for the bona fide scientist? And I found a copy of like an actor's catalogue, and it turned out that I could hire none other than the great BBC scientist, Dr. Magnus Pike. And he was hireable by the hour or by the day, and so I got him down to my studio, which at the time you had to walk through a meat packing factory in a Victorian trading estate to get to it. And I got him in front of the microphone, and I'd given him a list of the things I wanted him to say, and he said, now what was it again, Dolby? And I said, yeah, I need you to say, she blinded me with science. And this is what he said.
She blinded me with science.
And I said, Dr. Pike, that's fantastic, but it's not really a question, it's sort of more of a statement, to which he said,
Yes, but as a known scientist, it would be a bit surprising if the girl blinded me with science.
I said, well, just humour me, you know, just give me some wild tracks, you know, just say science a few times. And he sort of went,
Science!
I said, well, that's pretty good, maybe just rev it up, just take it up a level. And he said, well, give me a beat, Dolby, something I can jam with. So, you know, I happened to have a beat lying around, as one does, and so I played him a beat, and went sort of something like this, and he gave me a few wild sciences, like, that's sounding good, now give it some stick, and he went, fantastic, it sounds like a hit to me. So I took the groove over to my Jupiter 4 and my Jupiter 8 and started adding a few little licks here and there, and it was this sort of jazzy thing at the beginning, sort of I thought, okay, sounds a little bit sort of Herbie Hancock somehow. I don't know if that would really work in the pop charts in the UK. Let's try something a bit different, what hasn't been done. And I thought, okay, there's these dance grooves coming out of these New York clubs, you know, with these fantastic synth bass lines. So, okay, now we're getting somewhere. I thought maybe a little oriental sort of flavour to it. I went to my Jupiter 8 and pretty good at this point. Maybe you put that together with the jazzy thing and the oriental thing, you know, maybe we're going to get somewhere. So it's all right with you, I'll sort of show you what happened next.
Yeah! Woo!
Science!
By the way, almost any celebrity is hireable, just so you know. But it's poetry in motion. She turned her tender eyes to me, as deep as any ocean, sweet as any harmony. She blinded me with science.
She blinded me with science!
And found me in my play with technology, yeah. Chips and wires, careful notes, integrated notions, poetry in motion. When she turned her eyes to me, it's deep as any ocean, sweet as any harmony. She blinded me with science.
I believe in science.
She blinded me with So these guys were kind enough to find me an original Jupiter 8 and Jupiter 4 and bring them to my hotel suite last night so I could program this stuff. I haven't played one of these for nearly 30 years. And I knew instantly where every knob was and how to program it. So that's really a testament to the enduring quality, as Steve put it, of these instruments. And so I should be thanking Roland. These days, of course, you don't have to get cartage in to move your stuff around for you because it all fits in a laptop. And one of the things I love is that Roland, via the Roland Cloud, is starting to put all of its classic synths into soft synth form. And this is great, because in the old days, you know, you would leave this stuff set up and overnight the cleaning lady would come in and nudge a few knobs and everything was blown to shreds. So now you just close your laptop and hopefully it'll still be there when you open it up in the morning. So I'd like to play you another one, if that's all right.
Yes. Woo.